Brandon, I am so excited that you are our third recipient of the Kids That Make Us Smile program. When the panel informed me that they had chosen you to be the winner, frankly, I was overjoyed. I knew that they had made a very good choice. And folks, the reason I say that is I have known Brandon and his mother for many, many years. In fact, I was honored to be the one that got to do Brandon's braces. And so he is very near and dear to my heart. So Brandon, let me just jump in and ask you a few questions because there is so much to talk about with you. You volunteered over 200 hours while you were in high school. How did you select the projects and how did you manage your time?
Well, it all kind of started when I was a freshman and I just opened the Bible, just started reading for myself. And it says in Matthew 25, like when at the end, Jesus says, "Whatever you did for the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me." And at that point, I realized that I was not doing anything for the poor. And so I thought, like, I just kind of closed my eyes and thought of, like, the darkest place and where poor are. And I just thought the homeless shelter, like, how many people are there and they don't have homes. So I thought, why don't I just go there? So I just started on Thursdays just going to the homeless shelter and volunteering there. And that's where I spent a lot of my time just investing in kids there. And I taught free guitar lessons, and it was a blast. I loved it.
Brandon, what has touched you most about volunteering in a homeless shelter?
Probably the kids, just their childlike wonder about everything, just that I'm there, and just how excited they get just about when people that don't have to be there are there. And I just love being there because those kids, like I brought my guitar every time. I loved to sing for them, and we'd sing together, and they just loved it. And that's what I loved, that just their enthusiasm.
As a tutor at Texoma Christian School, what do you learn from the kids?
I learn to be patient. A lot of the kids are very smart, but sometimes they can be wanting to do other stuff. And I was that same way. So I think I've learned definitely patience is the most thing I've learned. But I still love them so much. Like, they've taught me so much, having just a childlike faith.
Many young people say Rotary's Camp Ryla is a life-changing experience. As one of the recipients selected to attend, how would you describe it?
Oh, it was definitely a life-changing experience. I think probably every single day of my life, I use something I learned from Ryla. I've made like the best friends there. I actually just had a competition where a guy gave me his piece from his school so I could use it at my school to compete from Ryla. And just the leadership things I've learned from there, I use every day. Probably in the next 30 minutes, I'll be using a leadership aspect that I've learned there. I loved it.
Now, for people who may not know, can you explain to us what is Camp Ryla?
Camp Ryla is a leadership camp that you're nominated for, and then you're selected, and then you go there to learn how to become a leader. And it's sponsored by the Rotary Club.
You choose to use your own money to sponsor a child in Kenya. Do you believe generosity can be taught? And if so, how?
I think generosity can be taught because when I was a little kid, I don't think I would have been generous unless, like, Jesus Christ first loved me. So that's why I love Bernard, who I sponsor in Kenya through Compassion, is because, I mean, I wouldn't have given my money away, but Jesus Christ laid down his life for me. So why wouldn't I freely give my money, even little parts of my money, to help Bernard and these kids that don't always even have food and shelter?
Among your talents is a gift for music. If you could use that ability to right an injustice or change a life, what would you do and for whom?
I actually am working on a project. It's already done. I wrote and recorded a CD called Essential, or Who God Is in the Church's Response, by Brendan Handy. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, all that. Great advertisement there. And I wrote that over the past 6 months to give 100% of the money away to International Justice Mission, an organization that's working to end modern-day slavery. Right now in the world, there's 27 million modern-day slaves, and it's just horrible what's happening. And so I'm giving 100% of the money away to International Justice Mission through this CD. And I wrote these 18 songs on the CD just to give that away. So, because I want to, in my lifetime, I want to be a part of ending modern day slavery.
All right, Brandon, your college years are just ahead. If you could teach a course on compassion, What are 3 things that you would most want your kids to learn?
First of all, that being compassionate, you first have to realize that you are a recipient of Jesus Christ's compassion. So that's why I know that's why I can be compassionate, is because of what Jesus Christ did for me. So first of all, to realize that you're a recipient, not only a giver, that it all starts with love. Like you just got to love the people. And once you love, then compassion, generosity, giving, that'll all outflow out of your love for the people. And that's what I've seen just in my friends and what God's doing through me. And then the third thing I would say is don't be prideful in it. Like if you're just prideful in giving, then you're just doing it for yourself. I mean, it kind of releases the point, because compassion is not self-centered. It's about the recipient.
Brandon, again, I am so happy, and my heart is so warmed that the panel chose you as our 3rd Smile for a Lifetime recipient. Again, it's extra special to me that they chose you. And I do want to offer a heartfelt congratulations from everybody at Stokes Orthodontics, and especially myself personally. Again, you are our 3rd recipient of the Kids That Make Us Smile campaign. And I do also want to add that everyone at Stokes Orthodontics is honored and feels it's a privilege to partner with Next Media in this program.